Do you have a face for a dark room? Do people tell you you're ugly? Have you ever looked in the mirror and it cracked? Have you ever been to the zoo and people throw peanuts and food at you? Well, let me tell you what. Why don't you check out Mark's Wrestling Masks on Facebook? That's MARC''S. Mark's Wrestling Masks on Facebook, because that's who keeps our ugly mugs covered too. Welcome to the Shiz Show with your hosts, Vader from Wish and NWO Machine and NWO Ken.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
Welcome to the Shiz Show.
Hello.
Yes, a lot of shiz going to be happening today for sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm NWO Machine, and on the other side,
Vader from Wish on the Twitter.
At Vader from Wish.
At
Vader from Wish, and you're also on Instagram. You're one of those.
Yeah, I think it's
or TikTok.
No, I got rid of TikTok.
Oh, did you? I'm still TikTok.
Chinese government spying on me.
I'm NWO _ Machine
I'm
on there.
Bubba Fett 52.
Oh, there
on
we go.
Instagram,
Yeah.
So.
And
I've also got another one called RBQ.
Oh, I don't
do
know.
all my barbecue stuff.
Oh, your
on
barbecue
there, so.
stuff. That's
Yeah.
You're quite the smoker. That is for sure. So in today's world, we like to bring on guests of all sorts, and we got last week I sent out a shout out to Sweat Equity Fitness, the gym.
Yeah, you've been talking about him a lot when we're off the air. So.
Yeah, and great guy. So Angelo Manfredi is with us. Angelo, how you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here, boys. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, we'll see if you're happy in half an hour. But it's so you are like, I walked into his gym. This is how I knew I was joining this gym. I walked in, first thing to your left, Stone Cold Steve Austin championship belt hanging up.
Oh, cool.
I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go there.
Yeah, this is meant to be. And Angela, you just tell me a little bit about your gym, because you've really designed the inside. Like it's a total man cave, really. Like with all the cool memorabilia hanging up and around there.
Do you do any workouts when you're there?
No, I just look at all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, I realized that if I was going to be there all the time every day, I'd rather be looking at stuff that I like being around.
Yeah. No, and it's great. It's a good atmosphere, and like I joked around, but I don't want anyone else joining it because I like it the way it is. But if you're in the Winnipeg area, definitely check out Sweat Equity Fitness. He's a 24/7. It's run on a lot of trust, which is fantastic. And
what end of town is it in?
Well, he's St. I guess you'd say St. Boniface is where it would be.
I've only heard about this from you.
Yeah, right across from your favorite restaurant, Teasers.
Oh,
yeah. So that's where he's up and around there. So it's a great little place, and I was happy to accidentally run across him, and great guy at the door, obviously. So, Angelo, we're going to talk a little bit about wrestling, as we always do. And we got the chirper in the back who's heckling already.
She's always trying to get on the show.
Yeah, she's new to the show. But, so, let's talk a little bit. Did you watch Raw this week, Angelo?
I did.
And what was your take on Raw this week?
Okay, let me reflect on what are the big things that happened. The big things on Raw. Was this week the week with the bull rope match?
Well, no, I think bull rope was last week, or the week before, I guess. But this week it was Cody Rhodes and Shinsuke, I think, was there. Or no, pardon me, Cody Rhodes came in with and saved Sammy.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right. No, Sammy saved him because he was getting attacked by Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Like, do you think? And again, we kind of talk at all over the place, but I don't know what they're doing with Cody Rhodes. Like, to me, there's just, as much as I'm not a big fan of, like, I don't like the fact that he talks forever. Like, there's enough talk. Like, I'd like to watch him wrestle more if I had my choice, but I just think they're bouncing him around too much. Like, you can't get a focus on what the guy's doing.
Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, ever since the Brock Lesnar beat him up like he did Cena from years earlier, and that was right after the previous WrestleMania, it just seems like it's been kind of filler until he rematches Roman, which then didn't seem like it was going to be the case again, because his rivalries seem very short-lived with incredible turnover, and then suddenly he's just facing Shinsuke again out of the blue. It feels pretty lackluster in regards to Cody at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, I've joked about, and I know I'm not going to mention who chirped me on YouTube about his whoa, but that's it. Like now we get so Raw starts, and it's 25 minutes of the Cody Rhodes song, and he comes out, and then it's another 20 minutes of him lisping and spitting everywhere, and then the end of the show is guess what? 20 more minutes of Cody Rhodes intro. Whoa. Yeah. And then
they should at least make him dance or something.
Like something. Like it just.
Well, you think this is going to be their WrestleMania main event, and there's like zero buildup.
Nothing.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Like again, like Angelo said about bring in a Shinsuke, like a random Shinsuke match.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. And like it's like they're lost with him too.
Yeah.
Right. They can't figure out. I don't know about you, Angelo, but it's like they're trying to make us hate Shinsuke, but it's one of those I could care less about Shinsuke.
Care less,
That's exactly what I was saying. I feel completely indifferent because they haven't provided me a reason to care. And that's something that in the last few years, I feel, although WWE has greatly improved in the past 1-2 years, in the past, it was similar to with Bray Wyatt up until he became The Fiend. When Bray Wyatt attacks someone, there was no credibility there because he loses all the matches that are important. And I don't feel a sense of threat from him. Same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura. He attacks Cody Rhodes. I go, well, Cody Rhodes is about to beat this guy, no problem, because there's no reason. He hits him with the Tajiri Mist, and I go, so? Well, whatever.
Yeah. There's no, like, it's like they're putting Shinsuke and saying, okay, we'll just give you the match.
Yeah.
But you can't go over because we got blank. And then he goes against Seth, and they go, well, we can't put you over against Seth either because blank.
Yeah.
Like, the poor Shinsuke, as much as I'm not a big fan of Shinsuke's wrestling, and you and I have had this conversation a billion times, he's got like one move, if that. Like
flying knee or whatever it is.
I'm not sure what strong style means, but
I think it's just potatoing. Just shots. I don't know.
But it's like they're just. He was better with Boogs, and
that was awesome.
And why was he better with Boogs?
Yeah,
because of the song.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
Right? Like nobody cared about Shinsuke. Yeah. Let's see Boogs play the guitar.
Heel Shinsuke he's got to go back to a face, I think, if they want to try and if they're going to shove him down our throat and try and make him relevant, I think he needs to go back to being a face.
Yeah. Like Put him with Tozawa.
Yeah.
Like Tozawa's hysterical with Otis.
That stupid dance that he does where he looks like he's like
like I hate to say
he's actually lost a lot of weight. I was looking at pictures on the internet.
Tozawa
used to be like big. I think he lost like 80 pounds or something.
80 pounds? I thought he was 80 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess he used to be 160 then.
Wow.
I was looking at pictures and totally different guy, but yeah.
Yeah, they got to figure out something to do with that. So in WrestleMania, in a sense, even with Elimination Chamber coming up, let's just get a little ahead of the game here because it's coming up anyway. We got a great guest on today.
Next week? No.
Something like that. In 2 weeks. But any predictions on your side, Angelo, for what you think might be happening in Elimination Chamber? Or what you'd like to see?
I'm a little bit confused about the winner. Is it speculated towards does the winner of the Elimination Chamber get a shot at Seth Rollins' title?
That's what I'm understanding. But
like I don't understand the Royal Rumble. The winner gets a shot at whoever champion they determine.
Yeah. Although
that kind of seemed not to be the case for all. But at Elimination Chamber, the first one Shawn Michaels won. He won the title. Now, if somebody wins, you would imagine, although it's not officially stipulated, they're going to get a shot at Seth Rollins' title. Mm-hmm. But at this point, right now, I'm not a huge Seth Rollins guy. This latest incarnation of his character, to me, everything you're saying about Cody Rhodes almost applies to him, although Seth Rollins can really go in the ring. It's just too much with the song and the outfit and the whole storyline that he's so banged up and injured, yet he keeps defeating everyone. To me, makes me feel like, so you're telling me Seth Rollins at 50% is better than Drew McIntyre at 100%?
Yeah, they are saying that because he's your fighting champion, I guess.
Yeah, and then he's going to challenge Cody Rhodes, and we go, but Cody beat you with a broken freaking pec.
Yeah.
So that didn't make sense. But in regards to the Elimination Chamber, I don't know if Seth Rollins is a face right now. I'd imagine it has to be a heel, and Drew McIntyre seems pretty hot. Mm-hmm. And is it too early to put the title on an LA Knight? And if they did, is he... Again, I'm not here to criticize. I don't know. Is LA Knight, the guy to be the champion? I'm not sure. So,
I don't think so.
If I had to guess, it would probably be Drew McIntyre or a Randy Orton, because Randy Orton you can easily sell. You go, okay, yeah, it's Randy Orton, sure, and his finisher is pretty much the only finisher that's still protected in WWE today, and it never falls under the guise of, oh, he did a super RKO or chain RKOs.
Yeah,
it's just the RKO and that's it, and I like that.
Yeah,
I just see, like, LA Knight to me is not, in my opinion. I know you loved him.
I don't. I thought he was okay. Like,
but you
I'm
were the
getting
one
sick of him.
You were the one who called it that
Yeah.
he was going to be sort of this big megastar.
Yeah.
And you were right. He did become that, but he's now losing luster for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think Angelo and I had this discussion. I think part of his losing his luster is The Rock has come out.
Right.
And
he cuts a way better promo.
But why? Because they've given Rock the opportunity to say, we're going to slap the herpes out of your mouth.
Yeah.
LA Knight, he still does poo-poo caca.
Yeah.
Right? So no one's believing him anymore now that you got a guy who's going old school.
And
promo.
those stupid sunglasses got to go.
Yeah,
too.
they got to go. I don't know. It's like some weird
That's well
mad
said,
scientist.
That's well said.
But yeah, if I'm going to give LA Knight a title, I would literally accidentally have him beat Gunther.
Yeah, he needs
Like-
a mid card title. He's not ready for the
Well,
big one yet. Like even US belt.
Yeah.
like,
Well, yeah, you got your other part timer you have.
or
with
send
that
him
one.
down to NXT and let him carry that.
Well, let
strap
him
a
have
little
that
bit.
for a while, or bring. Actually, he could go down to NXT like Dom.
Yeah.
And win a title. Otherwise, Dom's not getting win anything. But
No.
that's what I would think. I think, you know who gets lost in all of this, in my opinion, who's got completely just shoved aside and meaningless is Senior Money in the Bank.
I was just going to mention that he's a wild card here because we.
No
When's
one
he going
even
to come
hears
in?
that.
When's he going to cash in? Like
Exactly.
he's faked. He's teased it a couple times, but no actual attempt at cashing in.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see Cody Rhodes
Yeah,
nail Roman Reigns,
yeah,
and Mr. Priest
yeah.
comes down, throws in the briefcase, and takes it from Cody Rhodes.
Mhm.
Screw your story.
And then then we got to have another year of let him finish.
That's
the story.
fine. You had it, you lost it.
Yeah.
You got beat.
Yeah.
Right? And then he can go on a new program.
Or go back to AEW. So.
Well, yeah. Go back.
Yeah, I believe we had discussed that at the gym also, because then because once Cody finishes his story, what do you do with him? I thought that was a good pitch too.
Yeah.
He wins, he gets the moment, he gets cashed in on, he loses, and then he has a whole new story to tell.
Yeah.
I'd be there for that, and I think the Money in the Bank cash in needs to be successful.
This time,
I think anytime it's not, because again, there's been so many matches where Roman Reigns always has the bloodline, but even Seth Rollins, he's nearly dead at the end of the match, and you think, why doesn't he just cash in now?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just cash in now? Now would be the perfect time. Just cash in now.
Yep.
He just had a street fight with was it Shinsuke Nakamura? I think the last spot was he put him through the table there a few pay-per-views back. That would have been the perfect time. So I agree with you. Damian Priest does get lost in the shuffle, and I think, Machine, you had mentioned to me in the gym too, I'm not a huge, what do they call themselves? The Judgment Day guy
Yeah.
myself. Granted that thing had been kerfuffled right from the jump.
Oh yeah.
But again, I don't really get their shtick. I don't know why I'm supposed to care.
I don't know either. Like, there's supposed to be this major heel
Yeah.
faction, and they're really not.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
someone
like they
else is
dress
trying to
as
call
if
in.
they're the money. Yeah, they dress as if they're the Ministry of Darkness with the Undertaker, except they're
Yeah.
Ministry
Yeah.
of Darkness from Wish.
Yeah, and then of course you got Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. So
another.
everybody loves Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, so she's not a heel.
No,
Yeah.
everybody loves her. Dom, even though they hate him, I think they love him. They love to hate him. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's come a long way in that sense. But again, without the booing,
Yeah.
would he be relevant anymore? No.
No.
Because I still think he's a terrible wrestler.
no, he still needs work.
But he's with the perfect group to sort of carry him through.
Right.
And then you add R-Truth to that faction, which brings in the comedy element now.
Yeah.
So you really can't take them serious.
No.
You've lost that any chance of them really becoming, let's call it what it is,
They've been booked completely out of relevancy
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
as the modern day NWO did not work.
No.
Like, it's failed.
Yeah.
Because you had Hall, who is, as much as Hogan, Hall were heels, they were loved, but they still maintained heelness.
Right.
Whereas Rhea Ripley really isn't going against Nia Jax because everyone hates Nia Jax.
Yeah.
So Rhea's still the face.
Right.
So they're somewhere along the line, the three of us have to apply to be writers for WWE. Because we're coming up with some good arguments here and some good points. So it's going well that way.
Well, you probably got some connections still.
I don't know if I told you this. I should have brought it. I don't even know. Actually, I know where it is. Angela might not know this, but years ago I did some things with WWF, and I found my letter from I can't remember the person's name now, but he was one of the major guys in WWF at the time in the offices, and he mentioned to make sure that the office gets a tape of what was done in Toronto and blah blah blah, and then Vince gave the blessing to do what we did. And gave me all the wrestlers to use in that TV special. So it was, I should bring that. DeMarco, Carl DeMarco. Was his name.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
And I still have that letter. I also have a letter, not to brag, from Graham James. So totally.
What does it say? Nice feet.
It was going to Swift Current Broncos, and it was. We look forward to having you at camp. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other thing, right? So
I'm just gonna keep it zipped.
Yeah, just keep it zipped. Everybody always laugh. Like I mean, long story short, it was. I made it down. There was three goaltenders left. There was a young guy who was 17. And you had a wily veteran. Well, you're not going to keep the middle guy, right? I was in that middle age, and you're obviously going to keep the young rookie to play. But I always joke about, again, everything with me relates about humor,
right?
And people will say, "Well, how come you never made Swift Current?" I said, "I couldn't suck a dick."
Oh.
So, yeah. Boo! We gotta get the boo birds.
Yeah, here's a boo button.
I don't know. We'll find it in a minute, somewhere around here.
You got to figure it out. You got to know this stuff.
I don't know these things. Oh yeah.
I think that's applause.
That's booing.
That doesn't sound like booing.
Well,
that's happy.
It's
booing.
a mid cheer. So on that note,
okay.
Yeah, since my hockey career is dead,
we're
gonna move into something different. So Angelo, unless there's anything else you want to add to stuff coming up.
No, that's pretty much like I said. Wrestling's been better than it's been in a while, and I'm just happy. We'll call it heel Rock, came back on SmackDown and kind of interesting promo. I just wanted to say, I very much agree with your LA Knight Rock comparison. And the reason why LA Knight is floundering is because the Rock's coming back and doing basically LA Knight shtick,
right?
But with more reign and control over it. So it's basically Coke, and then you got like President's Choice Cola.
RC Cola,
sorry, bud.
Yeah.
But no, I hear you, man. Good point.
Well, if they bring Stone Cold back, he's completely done.
Yeah, well,
then that's it.
Yeah. Well, one thing, I didn't watch SmackDown, but I saw some things on Twitter. I love what The Rock did when he was acknowledging the tribal chief. I'm surprised it took that long for somebody to, instead of holding up the one finger, he held up the loser.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's genius. Why did it take so long for somebody to do that? I wish I would have thought of that.
Well, because he's The Rock.
He's The Rock.
And he wrote it, and he said, I can do this now.
Great.
So we're going to go into something a little different because I was just the other day looking through some of my memorabilia, and I picked off a couple of new figures to add to the collection, which was a Hulk Hogan, an Undertaker, and a Mean Gene Okerlund.
Nice.
And I thought to myself, you know what? Like, there's a lot of guys that are gone or that had an impact when we heard about it. And then there's other guys you go, yeah, kind of expecting it. Now, off air, we kind of chatted briefly about and how it affected us. Now, let's just remove the fact anything they've done, like a Jimmy Snuka, had a murder rap and blah, 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 wasn't whatever. But did that death affect me when I was a fan? Probably not. Mm-hmm. So let's just start off with the guy we chatted about off air for a second. Take away all the evilness and go into Chris Benoit. Mm-hmm. So, Angelo, how did you take it when you heard about the Chris Benoit thing first? And then how did you take maybe the results? And what I mean by the result is I was like, that guy is a complete screwball, how dare he, he's a monster. And then you hear about the CTE and that his brain was mush.
Right.
And you have a different, you don't let him have it.
Yeah. It doesn't justify what he did.
It doesn't justify.
It just helps explain it.
It explains exactly why he couldn't handle it anymore. But so Chris Benoit as a wrestler, honestly, I didn't miss him in that sense. Like to me, that particular death didn't affect me watching wrestling. Vader?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the circumstances were horrible, but really, I liked watching him in Stampede up and coming, and then as he got bigger, I could care less.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had asked the guest first, then you went on. And
hijacked
it like you always do.
Yeah.
No, it's your show. It's your show.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
you're
you
the
tell
guest.
him. You tell him. You tell him. So, Angelo, what about you? Chris Benoit.
Honestly, I actually met Chris Benoit. My father and I, WrestleMania 18 was in Toronto.
Yeah.
And we had went and we were staying at the hotel, and coincidentally, if you walked out of my little door for my room, the door I'd be looking at turned out to be Chris Benoit's.
Oh.
So we actually met him, and I got a picture with him, and he was really, really nice actually. Because we met a couple other wrestlers there, and just seemed like a really nice guy, built like a brick shit house.
Yeah.
Good worker. Of course, Chris Benoit, he wasn't good on the stick, right? So
Not
the
at
whole
all.
thing is you just go, okay, he's the worker. He just goes and does his thing. Yeah, it was just such a tragic outcome. But then again, like you said, when the results came out, hard living plus the flying headbutt as a finisher for God knows how many years.
Mm-hmm.
They said something ridiculous. If I remember correctly, like he had the brain of an 88-year-old man or something.
Yeah, it was
You
just
throw
totally
in-
disaster.
Yeah, you throw in God knows what else. Yeah, it was just really sad. But I just remember not so much about his career, but I just remember like, wow, I really can't believe that it went that way. Because again, I mean, granted, it's not like I knew him on a personal level.
Yeah.
We didn't have Christmas together. But what I meant, like, he just seemed like such a good dude, right?
Yeah.
So I remember being stoked in that regard. I just thought, oh, wow, like, what an unfortunate way to go out.
Yeah.
And it was fast too. It's not like there was like a bunch of things.
No.
He wasn't in the news. He wasn't getting arrested a bunch of times. It was like,
He just all of a sudden,
boom. Yeah.
and go on and snap. But I can attest to, and you're a football guy. I'm sure you've had a concussion or two.
Probably, yeah.
And I know, like, I had a couple nasty concussions.
I'm going to be fun in my 80s, put it that way.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I've had a concussion where I can't remember names and things like that, and it can get to you. Like, you don't even understand what's going on in your head. Right. And the fact, like, it was a friend of mine who I did take a nasty slap shot in the temple, which but as a goaltender, I did something stupid. I turned my head, which you want it straight on, but it was, I knew the guy shooting. I'm like, oh yeah, I really wanted to get out of the way. But it was someone else who joked, because I said, well, throw me one of those. We were in the dressing room. I said, well, what about the black thing on the ice, right? And the guy was joking. He thought I was kidding, but I could not remember puck.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't remember the name of it. And that's when I went to the doctor, and he said, I think your goaltending days are done. Like, unless you really want to lose it, because if you're not remembering words now. So again, I can't imagine the concussions these guys get.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I joke.
And they got to keep working.
And they got to
Like,
keep working. So,
especially back then.
Yeah,
the
sure.
schedule
Yeah,
was
the bumps
ridiculous.
back then were a little different than now.
I'm going to keep it kind of in the era that Angelo, he's a little younger than us. Like, I was going to say an Adrian Adonis. That one shocked me.
Yeah.
I was sort of, not as a kid, but I was like, wow, Adrian Adonis is dead?
Yeah.
Like, I'll never see, you don't understand dead. Like, in a sense, when you're 20, you're invincible. But when you hear this guy's dead, like, and so here's one we can all talk about. Owen Hart, how did that affect you?
I was shocked. Like, I was, as a fan, devastated, because he was on such a good program. Everything was going good for him, and just the circumstances around it, something so stupid to lose him that way. Like, I mean, it should not have happened. But that was it was shocking. So.
Did that bring you closer to wrestling, do you think, or did you? It's Owen Hart, and I don't mean that in a nasty way.
No.
Yeah, no, with Owen Hart, I mean, God bless him. But Bret Hart, everyone knows Bret Hart. Owen Hart, it wasn't quite at Bret's level as of yet. But I just remember that being so tragic, because you just think, my God, Sting was doing it every Nitro, and it was fine. He was going down. He was strapping somebody up and taking them up again with him.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
You know, and just something like that. And then as time has gone on now, you hear interviews about things. And I think Undertaker and Austin went on afterwards. Mm-hmm. And they said there was still blood on the canvas. And you just think, oh my, how just, I don't know, that one, I think, just for me personally, I think that one could be the most tragic I can think of off the top of my head, just because it wasn't necessarily self-induced, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. It was legit.
You know what I mean?
A freak accident.
It wasn't from demons. It was,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really, really unfortunate, and just another sad story in wrestling.
I was at the pay-per-view event at one of the restaurants here with one of the local promoters, Bob Holliday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we were and Bob was connected huge to the WWF. And I'll never forget, he made a phone call. Like, because we didn't know what happened, right?
Right.
And so he made a phone call to whoever he called. We were all sitting at the table. And Bob hung up the phone and he looked at us and he went, "He's dead." And we all went, "What?" And he goes, "Owen Hart died in the ring." And we sat there and like, what do you mean? Like, you just don't understand.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's dead? And then 5 minutes later on the pay-per-view live, Jim Ross had to come on and say Owen Hart died.
Yeah.
So we kind of knew before anybody that happened. And yeah, that affected me because Owen was pretty connected in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
With the Pony Corral.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He would do his Slammy. He donated his Slammy to them and everything. And he.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he, it might still be on display at the.
I think it's one on Region.
On Region, yeah. So
he
was always super nice, and I was like, wow, this guy's really. He was. I met Brett later on,
right?
But Owen was the one I had met, and I was like, I can't believe that guy's gone.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't believe. So yeah, that really affected me too, because I did look forward to the Bret Hart Owen matches. I was starting to get into his character, and then you lose him.
Yeah.
Right. So that one kind of hit me in a fact that I was like, well, that's pretty crazy. Here's one that I don't know if it affected me, but it shocked me. At 34 years old, Yokozuna. As much as I went, like, you know, a young guy, you can't to think 34 and having a heart attack. That's quite the thing.
That's 600 pounds, though.
Well, that's the other thing too. So, did it affect me or was it expected? I think expected might have been.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's still sad, but
sure.
It's like,
We're not taking anything away from these guys passing. We're just saying, how did it affect us in the mind? Like,
I think had he been still involved in like a big program or something, like that's why with Owen Hart, I think that's why a lot of people were affected by that one, because that was in the middle of a big, even Brian Pillman to some extent too. Like people that really liked him, it was like, oh wow, it's not coming to the pay-per-view today, So, but this was like, okay, he's done with WWE, he's doing whatever, and then and he passes. So
that was a tough one. And here's one that I think we're all going to probably say. Actually, I'm still in shock, to be completely honest, about Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
like I don't know, like I was like, and I loved his character, right? And I saw things. This is prior to his passing. That he's a fiend and he's this nasty son of a bitch. And then you see him at the supermarket just in his shorts and tank top with the kids and laughing and joking. And I was like, this is the perfect guy. Like, as much as like he was a superstar, but every picture I saw with him with fans, he didn't seem like a superstar. He literally, to me, loved it.
Right.
He loved that business.
He grew up in it.
Yeah, he loved his fans. And I think what hurt me the most was, like, IRS should have been dead first.
Right.
In my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I want him to be gone, but like a father losing a kid is ridiculous.
It's one of those you would hope no parent ever has to bury their child.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate with Bray Wyatt too, because similar to Owen, who might have been on the precipice, or even an Eddie Guerrero, where Bray Wyatt and Eddie were dare I say, at the pinnacle of their careers, the most popular that they had ever been.
Yeah.
And then right when it was about to really go to the next level, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I think Wyatt was. If he was, he just
trying
back.
to figure out a program for him, and it looked like everything with that Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing how that was going to go.
I was hoping for that too. And I don't know if you know this, but they have deemed his heart attack due to complications of COVID.
Right.
I don't know if anyone knew that. I know they just said he passed in his sleep and he was supposed to wear that heart monitor, but that's a so-called long COVID for you.
Right.
What about this one? Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Andy.
Yeah, that one was a tough one, just because, and again, not in comparison, but just, or even by comparison, even on his own, just such an icon. And especially his character was so larger than life, the Macho Man. But suddenly, they hear how it went. If I'm not mistaken, he had a massive heart sort of situation while he was driving.
Yeah.
You just think, especially back then when wrestling was really larger than life, you don't expect, that's not how you would expect the Macho Man Randy Savage to
he
go.
Was a
you
superhero
would think
to us.
a meteor would have to hit the earth. Like to hear that the Macho Man, you know, was so mortal. In fact, it was shocking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess to me, and I was fortunate, and Vader too has probably worked with lots of stars and met a few of them at least.
Couple, yeah.
So even with Savage, like the fact that Savage, I guess I felt really close to him in a sense because he knew who I was when I met him. He knew who I was because I'd appeared in a magazine as him with a body.
That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Very cool, by the way. Very cool.
I'll see if I can show you the picture one day, but it was with a bodybuilder. It was and then I opened a gym in New York as Randy Savage.
Oh, cool.
A WW. This
Did
is
not
back
know that.
Oh, this is way back in the day before these guys were doing major appearances anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So WWF contacted my agent after doing this thing for the WBF magazine, and they said, we want him to come out to New York and open this gym as Randy. And the gym owner knows it's a gag, right?
Right.
But it might be kind of fun. So we did have fun with it. But so when I met him here, he knew who I was. He goes, oh yeah, I was just looking at you in a magazine. And I was like, oh, that's pretty, you know, and he was so nice. So when he died, that hit me.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say in almost tears about it, but I was at that point like, wow, like I can't believe that guy who I just talked to, well, not just, but it died. Like that was my hero, like my idol, right? So that one hit me quite hard too. Here's what I'll just throw because he's kind of connected with the Owen Hart thing, but Davey Boy, and he again 39, heart attack.
Yeah.
Like, what does that tell you about these guys and their lifestyles?
Right. Maybe their supplementation had something to do with it.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, just hard living back then. And similar to Yokozuna, you see him and you hear about what happened, and in no way, but it's just.
Oh, where'd you go? Oh, I think that was there. He's back now. Where'd you go, in a tunnel?
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
And then same thing with Davey Boy. He was so jacked.
Yeah.
So ridiculously jacked that you go, well, you know, as a gym owner myself and someone in the fitness industry, I've seen a lot, I know a lot, and it's just hard on the body. It's very, very.
Oh, Angelo, where'd you go? You in a basement?
Pretty choked. I like the British Bulldogs.
Yeah. I just got a question. Are you driving?
Yeah, unfortunately, I just got struck as I had to start making my way to the dinner. Yeah,
just the only reason I'm asking.
I thought I heard a car door open.
Yeah, you started cutting out on us too. So we're just checking on you to make sure you're still going here. We don't want you to hit a tree.
Oh yeah, no. If the audio's bad, I can bow out for now and come back another day. I appreciate the time as is.
Well, that's pretty nice of you inviting yourself back.
Of course, you're going to bring him back.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go on one last thing. We're almost at our 30 minutes. Actually, we're well over, but who cares because we're having a fun
I want to
time.
go over it. No, 30 minutes.
I'm the one editing. I'm the one who's got to go home and be up till midnight now.
You teach me how to do it.
Oh, yeah,
I do it incorrectly.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't even hook up the phone line.
It's hooked up today.
Okay, here's one. This will be the last one with our guest.
Okay.
We can continue on another day on the death thing, which is kind of interesting to hear everybody's perspective on it. But this one really like snapped my head. Like I couldn't believe it because as a teen growing up, 18, 19, who did we all want to be with? Miss Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. That one, I was...
Yeah. That was tragic too. Like
my dad called me and he goes, "You know who died today?" And I'm like, "Oh no!" Like I thought maybe a grandmother or something. Right? He goes, "Elizabeth." I'm like, "Who?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Randy's Elizabeth." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
You know, you turn on the news.
Yeah.
But that one really hit me because you don't expect someone like, to me, she's the queen, really.
Yeah.
Right? That's the real queen.
And I never saw her as being a drug addict.
No, I know. And that was the whole thing about it. Like, you don't expect that person, and we're going to go back to mental health, right?
Yep.
Like, she was affected pretty hard with the obviously the lifestyle too, right?
Oh, yeah.
And savage and blah, blah, blah. But that one really hit me, man. Like, that one took a long time to even now, like, I just saw, what made me think of doing the death thing, there was a post on wrestlers' grave sites, and they showed the Elizabeth one, and I'm like, that one still hurts.
Yeah.
That one still bothers me that she got she got that bad.
Yeah.
And passed away through that drug overdose. Angelo, I'll give you that word.
Yeah, 100%. Miss Elizabeth, yeah, just another icon of wrestling, even as would you categorize her as a valet, involved in one of the greatest storylines of all time with the Mega Powers and everything, you know, and then even her run in WCW, just a real prominent figure throughout her career, and her and Macho getting back together and all that.
Yeah.
Again, that was back when wrestling, wrestling's doing just fine. Netflix $5 billion deal, whatever it is. But back then, wrestling was, for example, back then, my mom or my grandmother would have been up to date on wrestling. It was like Young and the Restless days of our lives. Macho Man.
Yeah.
Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth. But yeah, when she went, and especially the way her life took a turn there and the whole Lex Luger part of it, another just very sad story and a great loss.
Yeah. I'll hit with one more because I think it's something that's lost in today. And I still, and I know Vader and I have had a conversation about Pat McAfee trying to be the star when it should be the wrestlers.
Yep.
Like Pat McAfee wants to be the show. But one that really devastated me, where I was like, we'll never see another, is Gene Okerlund. When Mean Gene died, I was like, the voice. Yeah. To me, the voice of my childhood wrestling is gone.
Yep.
Like, there's nobody, not even
close to him.
Yeah, like there's nothing. Now you got these.
Nobody could comb his mustache nowadays.
No. Now you got these girls in the back.
Yeah.
And the wrestlers are barely taller than them now.
Yeah.
Especially AEW. And there's none of this, ladies and gentlemen, coming in. You know, like he always had the who's coming? Like it wasn't like, oh my goodness, Macho Man. Right? Yeah. He always had something to start it off with, and that was, to me,
it super exciting.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, Macho Man's coming in. Right? Like, even in the Hogan turn, like, he had so many funny things of, like, just, when looking back, I don't think we appreciated Gene Okerlund until he was gone, right? Like, even with the Hogan, when Hogan did something and he was like, don't touch me, I have a lawyer. Right? Like, he was so funny, like, just in his own way. And that one to me was, we lost the voice of wrestling that day with him. But Angelo, any thoughts before we let you go on the announcer side?
Yeah, I think that was bang on what you said, brother. Mean Gene, nowadays the backroom promos, they're not nearly the same.
No.
And Mean Gene, he was a character. He was established, and he had the respect of the wrestlers, but not in an intimidating way as if he was going to attack them. But it was Mean Gene, and you considered him on their level, even though he wasn't a competitor. He had that respect, and just the classic, let me tell you something, Mean Gene, brother. You'll remember that. How many times did you hear that? Let me tell you something, Mean Gene.
Oh, yeah.
The modern day version of that, I guess, would be Rogan. Pull that up, Jamie.
Yeah.
What else do you hear on a daily or weekly basis?
Yeah.
Every week or every day, you just hear Mean Gene, Mean Gene, Mean Gene.
Yeah.
He's an icon, 100%, and I agree with you. I don't think there's been anyone who comes even remotely close to filling Mean Gene Okerlund's shoes whatsoever at all.
Not in a backstage,
and nobody ever will.
No,
unless they're trying to do a rip off of him. And
the only thing I think on that side, as much as I'm not a fan of AEW and aside, that they tried for a little while. Like they did try to have that, even with Shivani.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did try to bring that sort of old school interview in, but it's just not working. Like they got a fluff Paquette every time they go to her, right?
Yeah,
and she's kind of funny.
Yeah,
but again, I just don't like when the wrestlers are the same height. It's just not the same. There's I'm sure Adam Cole probably has to stand on a fucking...
He's on a milk crate.
He's on a milk crate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have him in camera frame. Yeah. So, but anyway, Angelo, I know you got a dinner to go to, and tell your lady thanks for letting us have you for an hour.
Appreciate it.
And because
we'll do, brother. She's right here, and we're just lucky she wasn't exactly paying attention at the beginning when you were talking about the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Listen, I was really nice to her today at the gym working out because I knew I was going to get heat later.
Oh yeah, you got major heat and the good heat, not Xbox heat either.
Angelo, have a good dinner. Angelo Manfredi from Sweat Equity Fitness right here in Winnipeg. And Angelo, what's the website if people want to catch you?
The website is sweatequityfitnesswinnipeg.ca, and everybody, any friends of the show, any listeners of the show are welcome to come down anytime for a free workout.
Fantastic. Thanks, Angelo. Appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you next time I see you.
Boys.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. Later,
man. So yeah, that was Angelo. It was nice of him to come on.
We had to get him back on. He's got a lot of wrestling knowledge.
No,
it's fun.
He's got another. He does a sort of. I think it's sort of a part-time podcast with another guy, and it's Gym Rats and Movie Buffs.
Oh, cool.
So look that up. I don't have the exact link on it, but yeah, is there any other death that you could think of? I mean, we're still going here for a couple seconds. Yeah. I think we're having.
Recently.
Yeah.
Scott Hall.
Well, yes. Can you? And again, I still can't believe out of all the things that guy's been into.
Yeah.
That gets him.
Yeah.
Like the blood clot. Yeah. The breaking open and the 15 heart attacks. Like he suffered before he went for sure.
Yeah.
Like I just hope that, let's just say this, if he was unconscious and had those heart attacks, I hope that was the case, because I hope he didn't have to feel all that. Yeah. I don't think he deserved that. And there's a guy with his past, for sure struggled in his mind with his past, right? For that. But anyway, so that's the show, and if you liked it, make sure you comment on our YouTube channel. If you didn't like it, keep your fucking mouth shut.
Oh, a lot of swearing today. I thought we're somewhat family here.
Ladies and gentlemen. Vader, you know what time it is.
I'm not dancing.
You are.
You've made this show X-rated almost. Okay, I'm dancing.
Okay, well, a little thump here.
You hit the button again.
So anyway, that's our show, and thanks again to Angelo.
Yeah, thanks, Angelo.
And if there's a wrestler death that affected you, let us know.
Yeah, throw some comments.
For sure. Until next time, keep kicking out.